Well, I'd never been to Klamath Falls, and it was amazing. Have you been there? No. What's funny is that it takes two airplanes and like an hour and a half drive to get there. So you wouldn't think, right? Southern Oregon, kind of Northern California. But anyway, yeah, it was good. It was a good trip. Good. Yeah. I listened to the special meeting that I missed, not in real time, but afterwards.
Yeah.
Curious to hear what had happened. So
Yeah.
but this
That was, yeah, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, but, yeah, either way, the next milestone. If we get, then we can talk about it. Yeah, yeah.
but
So that three big blocks, and the clinic should sell. I'm sorry, I'm the second one.
I am here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I missed the pool event on Tuesday, which I really wanted to go to, but I didn't get home till 9.
Oh,
So I
are
was
you gonna go to
disappointed.
the one next week for the
Yeah.
employees? Yeah.
Yeah. I was disappointed to miss that though.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. They raised money.
Yeah, I had a couple of friends that went. They said it was great.
That's good.
Yeah, he's on a film. Yes. Well, I've only lived here since 14, but it is a full time. Others. I don't have to do my hands out. I did take care of the instincts. It's not the awesome. So.
I like the new slideshow. Looks nice.
It'll be so great.
Yeah.
My house. That explains it a little bit. Right. I think it's I think is this
How are you? When do you hear back on your test?
24th. Yes. I mean, like, I can't do worse than I did first time around. And I learned my lesson, like, no. It's like your brain's not fully functioning when you're pregnant. Like, don't get all the oxygen to your brain. Don't try to do hard stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you can wait.
It's, yeah. So.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Doing well. How are you doing today? Yeah. It's amazing how good sleep has such an impact on every other aspect of our life. Yeah, it does need to be amended. We have no, like, there was really no, like noise levels that we had in the actual, like,
I got this. I literally did this all in like an hour. So I brushed my root windows now.
nice.
And it's based off of Cheney spoken county. Chapter RCWs, I forgot to RCW 70.8 noise control and the federal ones. And then through God's good grace, there was statistic and here another person that case helps to take conduct and enforce amendment rights and allowing the schools to still use their discretion on stuff. So yeah, so I'm pretty excited. Like God gave me that literally today. It was my thoughts. More I could say that this is hard. It's busy enough.
What kind of noise issues are you experiencing over there?
They're just Daniel's.
Yeah.
It's getting excited, which, you know, needs to be better, but this is, I mean, it's too not to me. And I don't wanna get in trouble. Stop. They ask me nicely, and they.
And are they, is this like in the middle of the day that they're doing this or, okay?
No, no, it's 12.
Okay, because I do know like we do have like quiet hours.
Yeah, I've got, I put it, sorry, the governing laws. The conference, so just to be able to help you guys out with these, you know, just.
Maybe some traveling. We are talking some of our problems. I will say same. So there's a personal strength and all that. I can say.
How are you?
Made it. Made it.
Matters.
Once again, I'm here.
Happy birthday.
Are you too?
Well.
Oh, thank you. Sweet. That's okay. And yeah, I'm not even sure what it is that we can do about it because it's at the state level. But yeah, if, no, not that.
Thank you.
This. So, because it's a regulatory gap and it's Department of Health and Department of Ecology. And they don't talk to each other. There's no requirement for them to talk to each other. And because of that, that's part of what caused us to be in this situation that we're in. And so how do we advocate for a policy or regulatory change at the state level to help us facing that's, but I have no idea, like, this is the problem, this is great, we have some solutions, but what do we actually like?
What's that for?
For this? No, oh. From a citizen?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is it?
Oh my god, my son just wore that again. Sorry, one of the next one's wearing. That's what he's saying, life is a highway and it was. So this is.
Student gonna be here.
Noise ordinance, and we already have. It's not a very good one.
Yeah.
But. Yeah.
It's
Noise
so
ordinance.
we're doing it forward.
Well, it is really hard to
Well,
enforce. We also don't have any like established like decibel level that's like if you meet or exceed this, right, you're in trouble. I feel really bad.
Excuse?
This was years ago.
Oh, great.
So I used to live, never mind.
I would like to call our regular city council meeting to order at 6 p.m. If you would stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Thank you. We will do a roll call.
Honorable Mayor Martin,
Present?
Councilmember Vaughn,
Here.
Councilmember Bartels,
Here.
Councilmember Putzpah.
Okay. Must be muted.
Councilmember Long.
Here.
Councilmember Gonzaro.
Here.
Councilmember Viva.
Here.
Councilmember Lavar.
Present. We will now open it up for citizen comments. Before I do that, I want to read comments that were received via email since our previous city council meeting. Let me begin. This is quite a lengthy list. We received a
An email from Citizen DeLucci about our city noise ordinance, from Citizen Thompson regarding the Sterling Mormon House grant application. An email from Citizen DeLucci about Kratom. In fact, the following emails were all regarding natural or plain leaf kratom, and they came from David Wolf, Corinna Wallace, Karen Noble, Jordan Roy, Misty Brown, Heidi Sikora, Cheryl Gruwell, Shannon Lee, Sasha Fawcett, Brittany Sefton, and Christopher Deeney, who sent them to the mayor and or the city council. We will now shift to our in-person citizen comments and also our online citizen comments. I would like to remind commenters to please state your name and address for the record, and remind you that we have a 2-minute limit. We will be keeping track of that digitally here and also online. And so if you are commenting online after 2 minutes, you will be muted, and here in person, I will ask you to conclude. So in person, we have first Citizen Donnerberg.
Mayor, if I may, before we
Yeah.
kickstart this, I'm sorry, I was gonna make a motion to amend our current agenda to add another business item to discuss. Again, this is other business, no action to discuss. A look at grant applications and processing grant applications, so. Yes, I would be looking for a second.
Second.
There is a motion and a second to amend the agenda. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I don't know if Councilmember Postuma is on mute, if there's a way to give him access. Okay, great.
It's a little hard to hear, so I couldn't hear what the motion was.
Sorry. Can we
Would you like me to restate it?
Yes, please. And can we turn up microphones if possible? Okay, great.
I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add an item for not for action under other business to discuss a process in which we would apply for grant applications.
And that was seconded. And I believe the vote of all in-persons was yes.
I abstained.
Oh, and 1 abstention. And Councilmember Postuma, would you like to abstain?
I'll vote yes.
Okay, yes, thank you. All right, so with that, we will proceed with our citizen comments. So Citizen Donnerberg, thank you. And just a reminder to state your name and your address for the record, and your 2-minute timer is here.
Okay, thank you. My name is Corinna Donnerberg, and I live here in Cheney. I'm here tonight to ask the council to take steps to formally oppose the agreement Avista has entered into with, quote, one large load customer seeking to use an amount of electricity that would be equal to more than half the combined power used by all residential and business customers in Spokane County. According to a June 3rd article published in the Spokesman Review, Avista spokesman Jared Weebly, quote, would not name the company or the nature of its proposed business, end quote, but there's good reason to believe that this proposed project is a data center, which I believe would be disastrous for our community. Given that about half of Spokane County is currently categorized as abnormally dry and the other half is categorized as moderate drought, I can't think of a worse use of our limited water supply than a data center that provides no benefit to the community at large or most individuals within it, only further enriching a wealthy few with a net negative impact on public health and well-being. The people of Cheney deserve to have our water supply protected, whether the culprit is PFAS, contamination, or greedy tech companies. We deserve clean and safe water for drinking, cooking, bathing, and taking care of our homes and families. We need water to fight wildfires. We need water to grow the crops that feed our region and beyond. The City of Cheney has already demonstrated a commitment to proactively protecting and conserving our water, as we've seen with the Purple Pipe Project and efforts to maintain our wells and assess water quality. While the governing body with approval authority for this project may be the Washington Utilities and Transportation Commission, I ask the members of this council to take this threat to our community seriously and to act with urgency to work with our regional partners to protect our water and to ensure that companies who seek to take advantage of our grid are not allowed to profit at our expense. And also I heard from Spokane City Council that may be considering a moratorium. Maybe that's something we could consider too.
Thank you. And the next in-person one is Citizen DeLucci. And you'll say your name and address for the record and your 2 minutes.
Alicia DeLucci, if it pleases the mayor and council. I'm here for 2 reasons. One, to ask for you to please approve the ordinance with regards to the prohibition sale of Creighton, and you guys know why. And 2, I'm asking for you guys to take leadership on, and I'm providing, and I gave you guys all information that I'm going to be reading. Reasons to amend the City of Cheney Noise Ordinance, CMC 9A.10. Other governing laws include the Spokane County Ordinance, Municipal Code, RCW Chapter 70, Noise Control, and the Federal Noise Control Act of 1972. The reasons are all governing laws repetitively recognize an adequately controlled noise that adversely affects the health, safety, and welfare of people. Sounds occurring frequently or repetitively or continuously, which annoys or disturbs the peace, comfort, or repose of a reasonable person. We have an issue currently occurring in Cheney that is in a concentrated area of children under the age of 18 that are repetitively screaming at the top of their lungs with the intention to annoy, disturb the peace, and alarm others. While children do get excited, and it is only normal in excitement to be more exuberant in tone, this is not the case. These children are literally just screaming at the top of their lungs in the common areas with no parental adult supervision. And one adult told the children right in front of me they can do what they want and scream and yell all they want because it's not 10 p.m. She doesn't care who has to work, works nights, or medical conditions. She said it's not their problem. Shortly after her malinfluence, a child's fingers were broken from the violence that's also occurring. Evidently, she teaches at and works for the Cheney School District. Some of the things that they're screaming at the top of their lungs is rape, help, fire, and mass levels of vulgarity, threats, threats to get their guns and shoot people up. This is very serious. If asked to quiet down, they get louder and target the adults asking, including but not limited to harassing, threatening, bullying, and chasing them off. While children have the right to the First Amendment, as SCOTUS governing case law ruled in 1969,
Thank you.
I would like something done tonight. The reason why, and under the solutions,
our time
is
is up.
because
We
you
have
have the
other citizens
authority
comment.
to immediately table for discussion this issue and can agree on the verbiage to vote and pass with a directive for your staff to amend CMC 98.10 to state that as you agree for the immediate
Alicia,
implementation,
Thank
I
you.
hereby honorably request as such to be done tonight. Please and thank you. My sanity is at stake and I don't need any more crazy more than the perimenopause.
Citizen DeLucci.
So what
Your
I'm
time's
asking
up,
is for it
and
to
we're
be
going to move
amended
on to the next
for the
person.
24-hour to include
Okay.
yelling, shouting, loud parties, or social gatherings that are audible
And we take a short recess.
for more than 50 feet. Please and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now move on to, well, is there anyone else who did not have an opportunity to sign up? If you would, please come state your name and your address for the record.
Thank you. My name is Tanya Alstead. My address is 20321 West Sterling Road, Cheney, Washington. Honorable Mayor Martin and City Council members, I am here tonight from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to invite you to a free community event that we are having in a couple of weeks. The world-renowned Tabernacle Choir is having a 100th anniversary concert at the Hollywood Bowl in California in a couple of weeks, and there will be special guest stars performing with them, as well as the orchestra at Temple Square, and they will be performing their Sounds of Hope concert that they've been taking on tour throughout the world. We want to extend a warm invitation to our entire community, and especially our community leaders, to join us in this event. I have flyers that I've been posting throughout the community. There's a QR code to follow to do a little sign up for a free ticket so we can have a little idea of the numbers that may be coming. But pre-concert, we'll be having some dinner, some fun activities for children, and a little gallery walk with some history information, some big yard games, and a lot of fun. Then the concert will start at 6:15 with 3 viewing options. Bring blankets and camp chairs, and we'll have a big screen outside to watch a concert and an outdoor concert, or bring them inside this large gym for an indoor concert, or there's comfortable seating in the chapel for those who would like to watch the big screen there. And we've invited some of our elderly residents. The care center might bring a shuttle van with some of the residents there to come and join us, but we would just love to have all of the community come and join us, whether you're a fan of the Tabernacle Choir or not. It will be an evening of fun and inspiring music and hope, and we hope that some of you might be able to come. I have some cards here for each one of you that you can scan if you'd like to come or just listen to some free music. Thank you.
Thank you. If you want to just set those right there.
Sure.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else in the room? So we will now move to our online comments. And first we have Misty Brown. If you can unmute. And a reminder, Misty, please state your name and your address for the record. And you have a 2-minute limit.
Hi, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Misty Brown, and I am a Kratom consumer advocate and activist from Colorado. I'd like to say that I am representing the people that follow me, thousands of people that follow me on social media. I am going to read my testimony real fast since we only have 2 minutes. From 2008 to 2019, I lived in the grip of FDA-approved pain pills, benzos, and muscle relaxers prescribed for my degenerative disc disease in my spine and hips. For 11 years, chronic pain management fueled my addiction. What started as a dependency slowly slid into a destructive cycle of misuse and despair. In April 2019, I was dismissed from pain management after failing a required pill count. I was 11 pills short, and my usual drug dealers didn't have any pink Oxy-10s I needed. Cut off from prescriptions, I turned to the streets in desperation and eventually slipped into cocaine use while searching for another doctor. Then in June of 2019, while suffering through cocaine withdrawal, I stumbled upon the documentary A Leaf of Faith. That single moment changed the course of my life. The very next day, I began my journey with whole leaf kratom, not synthetic 7-OH. By walking into a smoke shop, the kratom was in the glass case, locked up, and I was carded when purchased. Kratom quieted the relentless cravings, the constant voice whispering, one more pill, one more snort, one more escape. For the first time in over a decade, I felt peace. Kratom gave me the space and clarity to confront the deeper reasons behind my addictions and to rebuild my life from the ground up. I have not returned to pain management over 7 years. Today, I'm a thriving mother, a proud first-time grandmother, a functioning member of society, and a tax-paying citizen. Most importantly, I'm no longer a burden to my children. I'm an example of hope and healing. I will forever be grateful that I found safe, lab-tested whole leaf kratom. Now I share my story, knowledge, and the science behind it to help others facing addiction, chronic pain, anxiety, and depression. Regulate whole leaf kratom. Ban synthetic 7-OH and its derivatives. That's what's causing the problems in your communities. I can guarantee you that. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak.
Thank you. And our next citizen comment comes from Laura Romney. Are you online? There. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, and just state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, sure, no problem. My name is Laura Romney, and I'm actually from Salt Lake City, Utah. I was one of the ones that sent you an email in, and I wanted to just reinform you of my quick story. I have been a chronic pain patient for 14 years. I have severe facial nerve pain called trigeminal neuralgia. And I found kratom 9 years ago, and it literally has given me a life-changing ability to function, to work, all of the things that the previous speaker said. I'm very, very grateful for it. I do want to encourage you to relook at your current ordinance. Most of your ordinance is excellent. I can tell that you see that 7OH really is the big problem, but the language in your ordinance actually bans all natural leaf and 7OH products. The FDA itself has done their own single ascending dose study where they showed that natural leaf kratom up to literally 24 pills in 5 minutes is safe. And just last week, the National Health Institute announced that they are going to be starting human trials for mitragynine, which is the active alkaloid in natural whole leaf kratom. So again, the government, NIDA, NIH, they all see that natural kratom is safe. The problem in your community is 7OH, and not just 7OH, but the other synthetic products. You need to amend your current ordinance so that natural whole leaf kratom is available, but yet it's highly regulated so that there's an age gate. You have limits on the amount of 7OH that's allowed in the plant, and also that it shows that it's lab tested and that it is pure kratom. I have sent you some information to help you in your city to set up a great compliance program where you can actually.
That is our 2 minutes. Thank you. And our next comment is from Heidi Sikora. Are you available?
I am right here. Can you
All
hear
right.
me?
Yes, a reminder, you have 2 minutes and please state your name and address for the record.
You bet. So my name is Dr. Heidi Sikora. I actually work out of Salt Lake City, Utah, for the International Plant and Herbal Alliance. I'm their chief scientific officer. I have no financial ties to Kratom. And I'm a retired nurse practitioner. I don't know if I said that already, but in any case, I am here to, and I sent an email to offer assistance and support as you work through your ordinance. Scientifically, I would like to point out under the definition section, under 5.35.020, a number B, kratom for centuries has been defined as the natural plant with over 50 naturally occurring alkaloids. So to say kratom or kratom product means any synthetic opioid derivatives is just scientifically, that definition I think would be better served separated, so that maybe what you could say is just synthetic opioid derivatives without approval, et cetera. And then under the section that talks about the 2%, simply adding the 7OH greater than 2% of the total alkaloid content or 1 milligram per serving. That would really help with safety, because that way no one can hyper concentrate the products to raise that 7OH level. And that way you're ensuring that people are actually getting the natural plant. I don't think I need to take a whole lot more time other than to say that we do have a good compliance program, and there's no charge for actually using that, and we're just here to support you. So thank you so much for the work that you've done on this.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next comment comes from Shannon Lee online. Are you available?
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes. A reminder that you have 2 minutes and please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, yes, my name is Shannon Lee and I'm from Seekonk, Massachusetts. My name is Shannon. I'm here today to share my testimony regarding the vital role natural leaf kratom has played in my life and to urge you to ban. I'm sorry. Hello. That's where I'm at. Wait a minute. Let's start over. I'm here today to share my testimony regarding the vital role natural leaf kratom has played in my life and to urge you to consider regulation rather than a total ban. I am a healthcare worker. In 2017, I suffered from chronic lower back pain. It was so severe that it led to ER and doctor's visits and many days out of work. Being a CNA, as you know, we are the backbone in the medical field. Finding natural leaf kratom powder has been a total miracle for me and many others who seek natural pain relief. It is terrifying if natural kratom is banned. Many whom depend on this natural plant which have been around for centuries, would be forced to turn to opioids. Natural leaf kratom is not an opioid. Synthetic 7-OH is. It is dangerous. It's extremely addictive and should be totally banned. 7-OH is not the same as natural whole leaf kratom. Natural kratom provides pain relief without the risk associated with synthetics or opioids like 7-OH. Even the FDA announced at their July 29, 2025 press conference they are not interested in scheduling kratom, but rather banning synthetic 7-OH. I ask that you please take my testimony into account and the many others that have reached out. A total ban would be devastating to our state and our entire country and the many that rely on this natural plant for the quality of life. Please, please regulate natural kratom to protect our access to natural pain relief and ban synthetic 7-OH. Thank you.
Thank you. And our last online comment is from David Wolf. Are you? Okay.
Yes, David is my husband, and he supports my advocacy in consuming kratom. I'm from Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I'm here to bring you some good news, though I don't know when it's actually going to happen. The government is going to ban 7-OH, so that's coming soon, but I would like to get it done as soon as possible at the local level across the states, and so I would be willing to support any efforts you have to get rid of 7-OH. I was the consumer that was asked to speak at the press briefing in 2025 July. I was asked by the FDA and HHS to talk about kratom benefits and how it has affected my family. I had to clear my comments through them so they knew exactly what I was going to say. I've been a chronic pain patient, severe chronic pain patient for over 20 years now. I was essentially bedridden for 8 of those years, and I pretty much lost my mobility. I would often need a walker and even sometimes a wheelchair. This happened when all of my kids were in elementary school and things got pretty bad. They had to have fans on in their room at night so it would cover up the sounds of mom crying in pain. And it just wasn't a good environment for any of us. Enter kratom. I found kratom when my youngest was in high school, and so he missed everything. I missed all of my kids' childhood, and they missed having a present mom. And so, while we missed everything, kratom has now opened up the door for me to be a fully engaged parent and a help to my kids in this current world. In 2022, my daughter and son-in-law, they lost their childcare 2 weeks before she went off maternity leave. She asked me to move in with them for the year, and I gladly said yes to providing full-time childcare. And then just last summer, I took care of my granddaughter. She was 3.5 years old at that time. And we spent every Friday at the Detroit Zoo. And the same zoo where my kids had to push me around in a wheelchair, I was.
Thank you, Miss Wolf. Is there anyone else online? Okay. John, are you available?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, and a reminder to state your name and address for the record, and you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I'm John Shenholster from Ashland, Virginia. I'm the Advocacy Director for American Veterans for Kratom Safe. I'm also a United States Marine Corps veteran and an old timer in 12-step recovery for over 43 years. And you got to realize the natural kratom leaf that is legally imported has been tested for heavy metals and bacteria and packaged using the FDA policy protocol, has trace amounts of 7-OH in it that has scientifically been proven to basically be harmless for human consumption. Whenever you hear the word kratom, you're reacting to synthetic products, chemical products, adulterated products. So, kratom is already stigmatized and demonized. Millions of Americans consume kratom safely without any problems at all. And to ban the synthetics, that's what you really need to do and want to do. But please don't criminalize all these millions of Americans that have done nothing wrong, but found a product that is a solution to what ails them. So I urge you to don't create another drug war tool. Help those that need this product and keep it in the marketplace safe and available. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. Excuse me. Is there anyone else online? All right, that concludes our citizen comments. Excuse me. We'll move on to the approval of our minutes from both May 26th, our regular city council meeting, and our special city council meeting on June 2nd. Have you had a chance to review those?
Would you like to take those separately or together?
Together?
Are there any comments? I move approval of both meeting minutes of May 26th and June 2nd as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve meeting minutes from our regular city council meeting on May 26th and our special city council meeting on June 2nd. Those in favor?
Okay.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Did Councilmember Postuma raise his hand? Okay. Okay. When he gets back on, that's all right. Okay. Vouchers and payroll. Ms. Ashford?
Yes, we have expenditures of $1,169,340.92 and payroll of $610,814.12.
Mayor, the finance committee did review that. We did, that is pulling out the DAC, is that correct?
That is not, it would be minus the approximately 22,000 for NAC, the NAC invoice.
One thing we discussed was holding that final invoice with NAC. Some items are completed at the pool, so minus the, I'm sorry, you said 22,000.
Approximately, I believe.
Approximately holding that one. I would move approval for the vouchers and payroll as presented.
Second.
A motion and second to approve vouchers and payroll as amended. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Vouchers and payrolls approved. You can see the two small contracts that I approved the past couple of weeks, which brings us, since we have no information items or appointments, to our action items. The first one is Resolution F500, Spokane County Hazard Mitigation and Community Wildfire Protection Plan adoption, which is very wordy.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Good evening, Council. Sorry about that. So this is where I formally come before you all and ask on behalf of Spokane County that you formally adopt our hazard mitigation and community wildfire protection plan. So this is the second time I've worked on this plan. It comes around every 5 years, and it's a requirement under FEMA, Department of Homeland Security, if the city of Cheney, in the event, ever needs to partake in non-emergency disaster assistance or mitigation grants. So back in 2025, yes, we're 2026, we formed a team in Spokane County, our Spokane County Department of Emergency Management. Second time she sought out a grant opportunity and hired a consultant to help guide us through the process. It's a consulting firm from the west side of the state. And the consulting firm really knows what they're doing in this arena here. And it's the second time we've used them. First time was back in 2019 for the 2020 through 2025 plan. The plan's been sitting at the federal government for about 5 months now. We all been waiting for FEMA to approve the plan. They finally have formally adopted the plan. And so out of formality, each of us jurisdictions within Spokane County is being asked to formally adopt the plan as well. I included both plans in your packets for you this evening. They're quite large documents. My apologies for that. I believe it was January 29th. I had sent out an email to city leadership to include yourself to make sure that we had a solid plan. Any last final comments or concerns? I got some comments, great comments back. Thank you for those that were able to reply. I did do a quick synopsis here on so you don't have to go through and regurgitate the entire plan. The volume 1 of the plan is the county's plan holistically, and volume 2 is really each jurisdiction's annex. So you'll find that chapter 3 on volume 2 is the city of Cheney's annex to that plan. I advocated back in 2019 that although this is a requirement for FEMA and it's geared towards natural disasters, I advocated, can we include from the city of Cheney 2 man-made potential hazards that exist within our city limits. One was to represent Eastern Washington University with the potential of an active shooter event. And the second one, which probably keeps me up most nights, is our rail incident specific with hazardous materials. Something of that nature for the city of Cheney, would really gridlock us and prevent us from a large evacuation or a shelter-in-place scenario. I was advised back in 2019 that it's probably not going to be permissible. However, they would allow me to include it and see what happens. Well, FEMA adopted it. So we went ahead and included it again this year. And then Spokane County as a whole actually included the rail industry with hazardous materials in the county's plan. So they really liked that. And they actually adopted a strategy as part of the mitigation efforts with that. So I was really pleased to see that they included that. Obviously, we went through and we updated the demographic information, the assessed valuations of some of the property for the city of Cheney. A lot of help with Sue Beeman down at UB, and prior to our previous city planner departing ways, he had a big hand in this as well. One of the major components that was included in this year or last year for this year's adoption was the Community Wildfire Protection Plan, which is a requirement. So unfortunately, after the Gray and Oregon road fires a few years back, we ended up developing SHWMC, the Spokane County Wildfire Mitigation Coalition. If that couldn't get any longer than that, FEMA felt that that was very satisfactory to satisfy the Community Wildfire Protection Plan that's required. So we were able to include that into the plan. Another major inclusion into the plan this cycle, unlike last cycle, was to develop a critical facility list. Being prior military, I was very familiar with that. And so we were able to use some of the strategies and ideologies that I adopted from my military lifestyle. And so for the city of Cheney, I wanted to make sure that any critical facilities that were deemed critical for the continuance of core necessary functions. So our facilities like our power and wastewater facilities were included, our schools, because we generally use our schools here in Cheney for any sort of major wildland fire to bed down an incident management team. And then any of the facilities that poses a hazardous material release that contains hazardous materials on site. So we went through an algorithm to sort of prioritize the facilities. We know that it was a bit of an ad hoc last minute requirement for that. So we're really hoping on the next 5-year iteration, we'll be able to dial in as a county and for the city a much better listing of facilities and the prioritization of that. You'll also notice in that is sort of a calculated, I don't want to butcher this, calculated priority risk index. And so that index gives us 6 different categories of natural disasters. And in concert with the rest of the county, you'll see that severe weather ranked the highest for us in the city of Cheney based on the algorithm, with wildfires posing a second, very close second highest risk for us for the city of Cheney. And that was in lockstep with the rest of the county as well. All the jurisdictions had those 2 scored almost exactly the same. If you go into Volume 2, Chapter 3 for the city's annex, you'll see that our rail line, a displacement or a derailment for a rail would rank very high for us as well. And those are based on core competencies that we had to use with an objective criteria, if you will. And then last but not least, the other part of that is at the bottom of our annex in the plan is we have to come up with mitigating strategies. FEMA's not going to say, hey, just say you got all these hazards and you're not going to do anything to mitigate or to minimize the hazards and then ask for a handout if in the event you have a natural disaster in your jurisdiction. So we've got 15 different mitigating strategies that we had to navigate through and take a look at. So I was able to use a lot of those from our 2020 plan for our 2026 plan, and with some updates and changes to those. I know I said a lot. My apologies. I was hoping that you didn't have to read through 60-some pages of both documents, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Chief Jenkins?
I think you're being very humble. 800 plus.
Yes.
But, Your Honor, if there are no questions, I would approve F500.
Second. Motion and a second for approval of resolution F500. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There we go. The resolution F500 passes. Thank you, Chief Jenkins. We will move to resolution F501, which is a supplemental agreement for our Elm Street Phase 2 project. Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, good evening. Yes, this is Resolution 501. This is a TIB consultant supplemental agreement with Parametrics Engineering. They're design engineers for the Elm Street Phase 2 overlay project. They already have contract for engineering, design, and bid. Now that that's out, have our contract numbers. They calculate their fees for engineering, construction management, excuse me, on the project over that. Due to the bids coming in considerably lower than design cost estimated, they really had to do some trimming on their numbers for the design, construction management, engineering. So they've came back with a proposal. It's $73,087 for the construction management, and that's less than what we had budgeted in the 2026 budget. So I'm asking for approval for the mayor to sign that contract amendment.
Are there any questions?
Your Honor, we discussed, this is obviously one of our main projects that we'll see this summer. Public Works, I would make a motion to approve F501.
Okay. A motion and a second to approve resolution F501. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, resolution F501 passes, which brings us to resolution F502, which is a supplemental agreement for our North 6th and Betts Road roundabout, also for you, Mr. Ferguson.
So this is identical to 501, other than the location being the North 6 and Betts roundabout project. Again, the bids came under considerably under what the design was. They again trimmed down their budget, came in at $67,271. And again, that was less than what we budgeted in 2026 for the project. So again, asking for approval of the resolution for the mayor to sign the amendment.
Are there any questions?
Okay, another big project for us this summer. I'd make a motion F502.
Second.
A motion and a second for approval of resolution F502. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that resolution passes. Which brings us to ordinances. The ordinance before us tonight is ordinance Z03 to prohibit the sale of kratom. And I will read this summary and then Mr. Meese will answer all of your questions. The City Council and administration have expressed interest in addressing the sale of synthetic kratom in Cheney due to the considerable threat to public health and safety. In addition, at the Public Safety Committee, there was discussion of including language that would permit the possible revocation of a business license for multiple violations of Ordinance Z03. However, the city attorney has advised that currently city code does not contain revocation language. As a result, the administration recommends that the city council not include any revocation language in Ordinance Z03 and instead address those concerns through addition and or revision of revocation language under the appropriate licensing sections of city code. Any questions, comments, discussion on this?
I have some comments.
Yes.
So this is of interest to me for lots of reasons. So last night I had some time, so I got in my car with my dog and we hit the all of the convenience stores in Cheney just to see exactly what kratom availability looked like. In each of the convenience stores, I asked where their kratom products were and if they had loose leaf kratom. Every place that I went had kratom available. Only one place had loose leaf kratom and it was stored under the counter. It wasn't displayed in the way that the other kratom products were displayed. So only one had, from what I found in my investigative efforts yesterday, had what some of the folks testifying are speaking to. One of the convenience stores in our area, as you walk in, you go immediately to the left and there's an area with marijuana, kratom. 1/2 to 2/3 of that area is kratom products, which speaks to the demand. Of those kratom products, not all of them are labeled with kratom. Some of them are labeled with 7-hydroxy. So people may be purchasing and not understanding that it is actually kratom. Most of the marketing is about feeling happy and relaxed. So that's most of what folks who are drinking or eating. There's pills, there's drinks, there's all of the things. You might all know this. This was somewhat new information to me. So there was also marketing to youth. So some of the kratom packages looked like candy, like sour apple, and they looked like little donuts and things like that. So there was some specific marketing towards kids. So thinking about substance use, and one of the many things that happens when people use substances, you get a dopamine burst. And so there are lots of bar graphs out there that show like, okay, on a baseline day for a human being, what does their dopamine look like? On the best day ever, what does their dopamine look like? And then it goes through a list of different types of substances. I believe that, from what I read, that kratom would be most similar to heroin, which would be at least 5-fold the natural dopamine that your body would create on your best day ever. So for me, as someone who works in behavioral health with kids, I think about kids. We all know there's behavioral health crisis. And if you have a child who gets their hands on this, which is very easy, in the store that I went to where all of the products are to the left, they are behind glass sliding doors. No one even knew I was there. I slid the door. I could have easily taken some kratom and left. So it's highly accessible even in that way. So as a behavioral health provider, I think about helping kids manage their behavioral health symptoms, anxiety, depression, and even trying a substance like this one time. We can't beat it, right? Like if we're doing all of the therapy in the world, we can't beat that feeling. We can't help kids get that feeling, that dopamine burst naturally. And so once they've experienced it, it's really hard to encourage them to practice those skills, to do all the really hard things instead of drink a drink or take a pill. So it was interesting. It was super interesting. And what I decided, the information I probably should have is this much. The information I have thinking about this in this moment is this much. But with the information that I have, I would vote for this ordinance as is, because of the small amount of loose leaf kratom in our area, or that I found, right? And also that it's high, I checked it out, it's highly available online as well. So I just wanted to let everybody know what I found.
Yeah, thank you. Other council members, Councilmember Labar.
I appreciate that. That was very interesting because I haven't been to all the convenience stores. I've seen it some places, but just to clarify, the way that this is worded now, correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's synthetic, the way it's worded.
So,
Okay.
Councilman Labar, yes, that's the intent of what you have in front of you. So just to back up a little bit, and that was a fascinating piece of testimony. I appreciate that, Councilman Hunt. So yes, this ordinance, I believe, had been through 2 prior readings, went back to the Public Safety Committee at the most recent Public Safety Committee meeting. The language that you have this evening was suggested in concept at that meeting to really address just synthetic kratom products alone, especially at that 2% or higher level. So staff made those changes based on that conversation. It is our goal that what you have in front of you is just a synthetic kratom ordinance, correct?
Okay.
There were also just while I've got the floor for just a second, there was also, as the mayor read earlier, there was some discussion at that Public Safety Committee meeting about using a business license revocation procedure, not something that the staff is objecting to in any way. But as the mayor alluded to earlier, we would like to separate that out, deal with that under the revocation, the business license section. And I think our goal would be to get that back to you by, I think the next meeting of public safety is on the 16th. Am I right about? So try to get something like at least a draft back to you on the 16th. So you can look at the revocation language as well. So we don't want the council to think that that's going to get dropped or fallen off the table. We'll come right back with that, but we just weren't ready for the purpose of this ordinance tonight.
Other questions?
Yeah.
Councilmember Bilal.
Real quick. So, couple things. We as a city, am I understanding this correctly, Mr. Capon, we cannot set age limits. That's a state level thing for Washington. Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure we got that because that keeps coming up. Like people asking us to set the age limit. And I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that we do not have the authority to do that. Or else we would. Can we, just to make sure that it is really clear, could we just replace all mention of kratom by itself with synthetic kratom? Would that clarify that for people and make it a little bit easier without changing anything else really that we've done here?
Sorry, Councilman, it's your ordinance.
Well, it's not
So,
my ordinance,
yeah,
but-
well, it's the council's ordinance, right? Yeah. So if you want to insert that language, certainly, you know, if you want to just put the word synthetic in front of every time it says kratom, I think that's certainly your prerogative. I don't know that we would have any kind of objection. Yeah.
And that was really my biggest thing, was just making sure that was cleared through legal and that was something we could specify. Because other than that, I'm A-okay with it as it is. And I really just want to say thank you to everybody that put the effort into this. It took us a little bit longer to get through it than everybody else did, but we didn't rubber stamp it. We made sure that we did this catered specifically to our community because Councilmember Hahn is correct. I know the story you're talking about because I also went through and looked at this, and yeah, it's too easily accessible, and it's about time we did something that we can actually enforce. But you're right, it's still easily accessible online. So that's something that has to be taken care of at the state level. We can't do much about online sales, but I do appreciate that we've taken the time, done our due diligence, and have made something that I think is going to be a little bit more impactful and have a little more teeth than what we saw at the first reading. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from council? Is there a motion?
We're gonna have to do the ordinance one, but
yes.
I would make a motion for the third reading of ordinance Z03. Correct? Oh, and thank you. In title and summary form only.
Are we,
Thank you. And placed before you for final passage.
Very good.
are we gonna do the friendly
Correct.
amendment from?
Oh, yes. We need to make an amendment to the language to amend it to say synthetic kratom. Okay.
Is that its own motion?
Do you want to do that first?
can include it in that piece.
You need to make a motion with a second and a vote to amend the ordinance.
Okay.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to amend the ordinance Z03 to specify synthetic kratom in place of all mentions of natural leaf kratom.
Second.
A motion and a second to amend ordinance Z03 to prohibit the sale of kratom. Wherever it says kratom, it will be changed to say synthetic kratom. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the ordinance will be amended. Now,
Okay.
you want to say the whole thing?
Yes, I would make a motion for the third reading of ordinance Z-03 in title and summary form only as amended, and to be placed before us for final passage.
Second.
There's a motion and a second for ordinance, for the third reading of ordinance Z03 in title and summary form only. And then do you do it or do I do it?
Well, you have to.
I do the roll call, the voting call.
We have to. That has to be.
Oh, yes, okay. For the motion, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And now for the ordinance. Yes, thank you.
An ordinance prohibiting the sale and distribution of kratom products in the city of Cheney, adopting a new chapter 5.35 of the Cheney Municipal Code and other matters properly related thereto.
And do you do it or do you want me to? Councilmember Hahn.
Aye.
Councilmember Bartels.
Aye.
Councilmember Postuma.
Aye.
Councilmember Long.
Aye.
Councilmember Nazaro.
Aye.
Councilmember Bealock.
Aye.
Councilmember Labar.
Aye.
Ordinance Z03 passes. With that, we will move on to other business. Councilmember Bartels.
Thank you. My goal with this other business isn't to rehash last Tuesday's, but our meeting, but to bring forth some discussion regarding future grant applications and process thereof. And it's been a historic process, I guess, in this council, that if a grant application comes forward, it's vetted. And I think it would be very important that we, whether we get back to the basics or get to a policy that would have a few checks and balances, and namely 3 individuals on staff. And that would include Mr. Capon from a legal matter, is it Rouse?
Rouse.
Rouse, thank you. From a finance perspective, to know what the financial implications are of the grant. And then Mr. Meese, kind of to be the overarching final check, make sure the narrative is correct, the application is correct, and it would be brought before us at council dais. So that's bringing this up as other business. We did discuss it briefly at Finance Committee, and I guess I will yield some time to Mr. Meese too to.
Sure. So thank you, Councilman Bartel. So as we discussed in the council meeting, and since the last special city commission meeting with regard to the grant proposal that came from the Sterling Mormon House, one of the adjustments that we've made internally in the administration is we have a new process for how staff put things on the city council committee agendas, which will basically require 4 sign-offs on a vetted package of information by Mr. Capon, myself, and Mr. Rouse, and then eventually a signature from the mayor from a staff perspective. This is not from the city council's perspective. So in the case of grant applications that we would be bringing to the city commission, the current process would already sustain some of that type of activity. We were, though, also engaged as an administration in discussing and draft or starting to create a grant application policy that I think we would like to complete that work. And then through the process I just described, we'll bring that to the Finance Committee. We'll probably include some items in there like a minimum threshold so that you aren't having to look at every single application, say something under $10,000. Perhaps, as the mayor has suggested as well, is there a city match or not a city match? Is there a property involved? So we'll try and contain all of those elements in a policy with a resolution that we bring back to the city council through committee for you all to completely review, modify, and then consider for approval. Right. And so the purpose of this isn't to, from our perspective, I don't think the purpose is to limit that type of activity. It is rather to make sure that we're all fully informed before it reaches the committee and then before it reaches the council. You have the fullest benefit of the information to make decisions from. So that's where we'll be headed in the short term. Thank you, Councilman.
Yeah, thank you. Good summer.
Any other questions or comments about that? Yeah.
So will this, I know we have like the court systems, and I know Park and Rec and other areas they apply for grants all the time that don't have a city match. They're just like, it's just free money. So I assume that there'll be something, because we don't need to review all of those things at council. That would bog down our meetings. So I assume that would all be just kind of roped into, so we're not preventing us from applying for grants that we're already getting and doesn't cost us anything out of our budget, but really just controlling the rest of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the purpose of the policy will be to really clarify when it needs to come to a city council committee and city council and when it doesn't, so that we're not overlooking things and we're also not overwhelming the city council with just a flood of those types of grants. Exactly.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, so we will move on to staff reports, and I have asked our staff to prepare their updates for each department, and they have kindly obliged. So this will be moving forward a feature that we'll have a staff report, and we will start with Mr. Reese as our city administrator.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So first off, before we get too far into this, I want to thank Ms. Klinkenberg. She took a lot of bulleted emails and created a very well formatted presentation that makes the rest of us look good. So thank you to her for doing that. I can guarantee you my contribution did not have color or pictures or bold or bullets. So she's done an exceptional job putting a great face on it. So thank you for that, Shelley. Again, as the mayor said, she asked the staff, and we're going to make this a regular part of city council meetings. They have some really great news to share with you. I've put some of the initial things that I got to be involved in on this slide. I would just say as I turn it over to the rest of the team, probably the biggest thing that's not on the slide is just how much I'm enjoying being at the City of Cheney, the opportunity to work with Mayor Martin, the city council, and this great staff. It is a lot of fun. It is incredibly interesting. So I'm learning a new city and a new state in the last 3 to 4 weeks, and really enjoying the challenge and making a whole lot of new relationships along the way. And so I'll be glad to take any questions about what limited contribution that I have made over the last 4 weeks. Although if I keep going to department head meetings, I think those contributions are going to increase rather rapidly. So I keep walking away with more homework to do. Any questions from the city council? And then I'm going to sit down and turn it over. Yes.
I got one. So I know you've been working with Eastern. Can you give us an update on the swoop statue?
On swoop. Yes. So swoop is either in the process of being relocated or has been relocated was in a email conversation with the alumni director today. And I can't recall that location right off the top of my head.
It's near Reese Court. It'll be
What's that?
Reese Court.
Reese Court.
Reese Court for graduation. So
yes.
He'll be pointing the way of the future.
So we have made swoop a temporary new home, and then conversations are continuing with Eastern Washington with regard to a permanent home and maybe even multiple swoop-like objects around town. So more to come on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Who's
All right.
next?
Who's up? Marnie.
Good evening. I'm Marnie Ashford. I'm here on behalf of James Rouse, our new finance director, and just a little update of what is happening in our finance department is just our focus of collaboration and customer service first. And so what we are doing is assessing and reviewing policies, procedures, standard operating procedures to improve and build efficiencies that serve our community. And our community is also the departments we work with. So we want to make sure to collaborate. That's going to include a tour of James and myself around with each department and just really build more of a team environment and help us all work closer together.
Cool. Thank you. Chief.
Try to make it quick as well. So we pivoted a few years back without pay. One of our volunteer firefighters, a gentleman that's been retired, I think about 5 times, and he's got so much to offer. He decided that it would look really nice in the Yokes entryway and our library entryway to put some sort of a public presentation reader board. And it's been about 4 or 5 months. And he's going down monthly and restocking. So it's been a huge success, just putting some information out for public safety and education. So really, really appreciative of his work with that. Go off script for a quick second. As you all know, we had a very critical, highly technical call in the city Thursday night, early Friday morning. So a lot of thanks to our regional mutual aid partners that came in and assisted with us with that, especially our local law enforcement. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And let's see, is this HR? Yeah, Ms. Gomez.
Good evening. So I put together like a staffing update for you guys because I know that's a big concern with all of the positions that we've had and the turnover we've had. So for our part-time employees, when I submitted this, we still had 16 of them that were in the process of completing their paperwork and onboarding for their summer position. We've got that down to 6 right now. We have hired all of the people that we need for the summer. We are moving on actually for fall, and we'll begin interviews on Monday for our fall positions. So it's a never ending cycle there. For our police officers, we have one where it says the candidate has completed all of his testing. He actually started yesterday. So he is on. Where it says we're awaiting the signed offer letters for 2 candidates. They have signed their offers. I am in the process of scheduling all of their medical testing. We have issued one additional conditional offer that was just accepted a half an hour ago. So I'll work with him as well to get him on. So that will be 4 officers and that will be all that we have there. The light department director posting closes tomorrow. We will be scheduling interviews on June 22nd for those candidates. In addition, we have interviews tomorrow for the utilities specialist, which is Karen's position down at the UB. So we're doing interviews for that position tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday, Thursday. So for the building inspector and code enforcement position, that offer letter went out today. So hopefully we'll have that person on board. The wastewater collection position, that candidate did turn down our offer. So I've been working with Mr. Ferguson and we will probably just go back out on that and focus more on recruitment, on getting someone on with that one. And then for the police department stuff, I have been working with Chief Oakes and letting him know what steps need to be taken for any of the rest of the stuff that's up there. So still just waiting for that stuff and we'll move forward on that as soon as we get that all ironed out.
Thank you. And Mr. Marks from lighting.
Evening. May 30th, we had a power outage Saturday evening, and this is the culprit. It's a failed clamp. It faulted. The line burned completely through. And there was also a deceased squirrel we found. So we don't know if it was a perpetrator or innocent victim. But on the pole, you have feeder 2 and feeder 7. And this allows transfers, the switching. So what happened is feeder 2 faulted, sent the signal back to the substation. The substation says, I don't like that. And it opens up feeder 2, which shuts the power flow. In that arcing and sparking or the squirrel, it hit feeder 7. So it tripped feeder 7, which ran down to the Cheney substation, and that switch did not open. So went through the switch to our computer that says, I don't like this at all, and just shut down the substation. So we had feeders 4, 5, 6, and 7 out of Cheney shut down, but only 2 out of 4 lakes. So after an hour of investigation, they figured out what was going on, went to the substation, brought the power back up. So there's our 59-minute power outage. But feeder 2 stayed off for 5 hours because then they walked the entire feeder, inspected for these other clamps, because we've had 2 fail before, and replaced a dozen of those. So that's why that was out for 5 hours. And we have a plan for maintenance on these to remove these clamps because, like I said, we had 2 fail before. But instead of shutting down a feeder and taking away the power, it seems to be better to wait for these for the opportunity to do maintenance on that feeder and then remove them at that time. So some people say, well, why don't you go replace them? I said, well, we can, but we got to shut down that whole feeder. So it's by default that this occurs, but we're replacing them all. And then the next slide, Shelley, on June 2nd, Tuesday, in New York's parking lot, there was a delivery truck, and this guy was going a little bit of a high rate of speed in the parking lot, not paying attention, and he hit a guy wire on the telephone pole. And the guy wires, those support wires that come down on the ground, And they're pretty tight. This one was probably tight as a piano wire because it's carrying a lot of load, because you can tell by the right front picture what it did to his bumper. And they said it lifted the truck 2 feet off the ground. So when he hit that, it was powerful enough to do that. And then the whiplash on top, if you look at top left picture, that transformer came out of that bolt that locked onto the transformer. And then it detached what they call the messenger wire that we string across. It's a dead wire, and the neutral is wrapped around that. And that snapped and went in the road, and that Suburban drove over it. So in those cases, you don't know what's energized and what's not. Lucky Fitzner was just up the road with the flaggers. He got all the flaggers to come down because it shut down the street light, and they saved it. They got the power off, got the person out of the vehicle, got everything safed up. So we're kind of busy.
Thank you. You have been kind of busy.
Any questions?
Questions are.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Squirrels. Mr. Curley.
Hello. So the top left corner there is a fun picture. We have the Cheney Parks and Rec has an amazing summer or preschool program led by Mandy Ornelas. We had 35 graduates, and we'll miss them. They're a ton of fun to have around there. But the two big things that we have coming up right now are summer camp and the aquatic center. And thanks to Carrie, we've been interviewing about maybe 150 people, roughly. I'm exaggerating maybe, but since last March. And so we have 25 new staff starting next week for summer camp. We have roughly 60 kids a day. That'll be here for 8 weeks, and that's about 84% of where we want to be. We want to get that up a little bit more. And then Cheney Aquatic Center, we've hired 49 lifeguards and 8 pool cashiers, and they've been working the last couple of weeks, lifeguards, to get the pool ready. They've been out there training. Hopefully you see them out there. And this Sunday we have our first soft opening. We have about 400 people. That's what our goal is. We might have more on accident, but from the Betts Elementary in Salnave, we did a reading incentive program with them where they got free tickets. And so they'll be out there this Sunday to help us train the lifeguards. And then the pool officially opens next Wednesday, June 17th at 11 o'clock. And then some of the pictures on the right there are just some fantastic community support we've received lately. The inside picture shows the sponsors from last year. So we got the signs installed from our anonymous donor, and then our water slide and sponsors. And with all this money that we've been trying to raise is to try to help keep the pool accessible. And so if you know anybody that wants pool passes, have them go down to Cheney Outreach, and we have enough passes for as many kids and families that want to go as possible. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Curley. Chief Oaks.
Good evening. I wanted just to recognize Officer Nicola for the staff update. About a month ago, our officers responded to a shooting. During the course of that investigation, they recovered some shell casings. And then from that, some investigative steps took place, and we were able to link those shell casings to at least 7 other shootings in the Spokane area. That was 7 that we know of. Through some collaboration, we've identified a suspect in that. So we're working through that. It was just 2 weeks ago that you declared your proclamation for gun violence. So this is perfect for that. So we're out there doing great things. And then we had coffee with a cop a week and a half ago. I think we piggybacked off of coffee with council, and it was a great success. So huge turnout like always, great conversation with citizens, and we enjoy doing those things. So pending any questions that I can talk about?
What kind of coffee is blue?
That I think is a special Lotus or something. It has caffeine in it. I had one and it worked.
Nice.
So, any questions?
Mm-mm.
To be determined.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Mr. Ferguson. He has a video. Look at him utilizing his technology. Oh, just kidding.
Player, so
Pretend this is a video.
Yeah, I was gonna be really cool and show these guys up, put a video up there and give you an auto tour of our treatment facility that's now done, but unfortunately we have a still picture. This is the front gate of the treatment plant. My intent was to show you the work that took place in there and the overall results of the asphalt overlay that you so graciously allowed us to do to replace the original asphalt that was 35 years old and had pretty well crumbled to a point we couldn't repair it anymore. It was beyond saving. So the project out there is like 99% complete. We have some little punchy items on a couple of the buildings left. The final treatment building, which houses the final filtration system and the ultraviolet disinfection, is 100% complete. That project is now done. The water is flowing through there, being treated, and is meeting Class A standards currently, even though we can't use it for irrigation at this point. The reservoir cover on the 2 million gallon reservoir out back, which was a re-aeration pond, is functional and covers the pond. The water there, it goes to our pump station, which is now basically complete, aside from some minor touch-up painting, a couple of electrical items, but it's ready to be commissioned. And then the asphalt work in there replaced all the compost pads down around our composting facility, where we bring compost out, screen it, separate out the bark that we reuse, mix back in new compost, and then we store outside while it cures for its final testing before we can sell it to the public. So it's been a great project. I think it turned out really well. Citizens got a really good contractor. They went above and beyond on this contract. I'm very pleased with Clearwater Construction. They took some areas inside the facility where they did staging of construction equipment and supplies, completely rehabbed it, hydro-seeded it, which was outside the scope of the contract. They just wanted to leave a nice facility when they got done. So maybe I can bring this back in the future and show it to you, or if anybody would like a tour, I'd be glad to take you out and show it to you. So with that, any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. For mayor's report, I want to reiterate that next Wednesday, it's going to be summer. I really hope the weather will cooperate and our pool will be open. It opens at 11 a.m. for the first session and the second session is at 2:30. And how much is admission that day, Mr. Curley? So it is free to the public that day, sponsored by Moser Heating and Holiday Heating. So thank you to those generous sponsors for that. The second thing is our Purple Pipe project is complete, dare I say. And that is really exciting. And so the only thing holding up us implementing that is we are working with the Department of Ecology for our permit, and it will not likely be completed until September. So if any of you would like to send a letter to the Department of Ecology, we would love for you to do that, advocating for that incredible project to be put online. So that is all that I have for my mayor's report. So we'll start over here with Councilmember Hahn for council reports.
I was sorry last week to miss both the special session and the pool event. I had some friends who attended the pool event and said it was fabulous, and look forward to the upcoming event. I also wanted to thank Chief Oakes for the tour of the police department this afternoon. There's been a lot of work that's gone into a soft interview room and some trauma-informed decor and setup there, and I just appreciate that. The law enforcement officers and everyone working in public safety are exposed to trauma day in and day out. So I just really appreciate those efforts. Public Works this week. I think that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Bartels.
Attended the planning commission last night. They've opened up 4 of the public hearings for different chapters. They're looking at housing, land use, capital facilities, and I think transportation. Those hearings will be continued to their next meeting. They always meet the second Monday of every month. They also released a schedule. They're trying to get the comp plan done, completed by the end of the year. So they have quite a daunting task to do that. And then we do have Public Works on Tuesday. I don't know if maybe Mark can say if he can join us or not. And on Thursday also SRTC. That's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Postuma.
Not much from me. I'll be at Public Works on Thursday and then Public Safety meeting on Wednesday. And love the new things in the city council meeting. Thanks, everybody. Great job, staff.
Thank you. Councilmember Long?
I have slides.
Perfect. Excellent.
Okay. So I tried to do a capture. I didn't have a report last time, so these are this is what I would have talked about last time. Got a tour of the municipal court. Thanks to Dave Lucas, he gave me an overview and gave me a tour. I got to see the old jail, which was very exciting. And then park board, where they talked about community garden and park rules, which I believe is coming someday soon to council. And then I also did a historic walking tour. So if you haven't done one of those, they pop up every now and then. You can find them on the Park and Rec site. But it was super interesting getting to see that downtown and all the old pictures and seeing where the old city hall used to be, all these things. So big fan. I know they have one at Eastern too, so I'll keep an eye out for that as well. General government, we met on the 22nd, discussed council rules, which I know has been a big topic all year. I think we're almost done there. Talked about some data center stuff, which I know was talked about in public comment tonight, so a good timing. And then also discussed the possibility of starting an arts commission and what that would look like. And then I was alternate on the public safety committee this last month, and we talked about the creative ordinance passed tonight. And then since our last regular meeting, I attended the multi-care listening session and tour in Spokane. So that a bunch of elected officials from around the region, local level, state level, and then we had a representative from Baumgartner's office also in attendance. We got to meet with one of the executives with multi-care and share kind of what our needs are for our region. So we have a multi-care clinic here. We got to talk about what their vision is, and so they're looking at expanding that, and they're also looking at opening up like a outpatient imaging center in the West Plains, which is very exciting. I don't have a timing on that, but that's in the works. And then coffee with the cop, I'll have more. I have a photo myself, a different slide for that. And then the rest of the items, I have other slides. Move forward. So I also attended the planning commission meeting last night. So just kind of reiterating what Councilmember Bartels said, but they are also looking for public feedback on these elements. So not just public hearings, but it sounded like they were open to reaching out to the planning department directly and providing feedback. And then I included 2 links to the housing element and the land use element, which seemed more ready for like actual review and feedback. And then as Chief Oaks mentioned, we did coffee with the council and coffee with cop kind of in tandem. So we did them together, which was great. And it was such a success. I totally forgot to get a group photo until everyone was gone. So I feel like that's a good sign. And then, the first sip of summer was fantastic. And then it sounded like they raised $39,000 from that one event, which was amazing. And then I just included the pool opens on the 17th, which is already mentioned, and grand opening on the 20th. So that's I assume that's going to be a big party.
Always a party.
Yeah, okay. And then one last thing, I just wanted to call out that June is Pride Month. And then this Saturday in Spokane is Spokane Pride. They're doing a parade and festival. Eastern's Pride Center will be there as a entry in the parade, and they've invited the community to come. So I'll be there. And then anyone else that I can rally up to join me from Cheney to help represent the city, and then also support our students and our fellow university would be fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Nazaro?
Yeah, just shout out for the first sip of summer event. It was awesome. That's my whole report.
Thank you. Councilmember Bilock.
Yeah, that pool fundraiser was a lot of fun. It was great getting to see everybody come out and just kind of relax. So a couple things. Yes, we did discuss data centers. More or less, we looked at some of the language around some resolutions and ordinances regarding single large load users, and maybe some areas that we could shore up our own code for that stuff. And I have the Opioid Abatement Council on Thursday. So at our next meeting, I'll have an update about what's going on regionally with that. But one thing I really want to draw people's attention to
is this really cool program that I just learned about from the Spokane Conservation District. They were here a few weeks ago or a month ago for the presentation. But they've got this really cool program. It's the Cool Canopy or Spoke Canopy program. And it is to help property owners, cities, everybody in the county have access to more canopy cover. So as we continue to have hotter summers, drier summers, it's going to be really important for the health of the community to have more tree coverage. And so as we're, so you have the opportunity to have free trees supplied to you through the Spokane Conservation District. They'll come out, they'll help you plant them. They will help you with assessing like the health of your trees. So these are things that we kind of take for granted. We overlook the importance of them, but having tree coverage helps reduce the overall heat impact from our extreme heat days. And so this is a long-term investment in the region that is free. So I highly encourage people to use this program and to promote this program. So that was that big one. Let's see, we have a bunch of graduations coming up. So we've got Cheney High School as well as Eastern graduations. I believe Eastern's graduation has returned to Cheney. So make sure we are being good stewards of our town, being good hosts to all the guests and the parents and family that are coming to visit, and, you know, send out some good positive vibes and well wishes to all of our new graduates that are going to go out there and hopefully change the world. So there's that. Thank you, Councilmember Vila. Councilmember Labar.
Yeah, I would like to say that I love the staff presentation. So thank you for adding that in. I know our staff and our department heads do amazing work, and it's nice to see them highlighted with visuals. So that was awesome. I also wanted to mention Councilmember Long had on her slideshow, the CMA is looking for subcommittee members, and would love to get the community more involved with the CMA, which is kind of like our miniature chamber for the city. So just want to point that out too.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you very much. We have no further business. So at 7:23, our meeting is concluded.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, that's amazing. I had my whole parking lot cleared and I wanted to. Me too for free.